Duffy, saying that no one's ever lost a penny with the CME Group in commodities exchange going back to the Depression, and that they are guaranteeing it to a tune of $100 billion. He said this at a press conference with Mayor Daley last year. They've gone, as I said, it's either a con, a lie, or a fraud.
Okay, so you're saying Kurt Nimmo did an article with that video, and we need to get that out to people. We'll certainly cover that. You know,
and everyone should send it viral. Send it all to the media. It's the biggest breaking story out there. The whole
Gerald
system is a fraud, and this proves it.
Gerald, do you remember the headline on that? And we'll repost it on the front page and make sure it gets emailed out. Or we'll call Nimmo up here to the front office and find out what the headline is and put Nimmo in studio, because this is big. The fact that they're telling you, hey, this is 100% backed, 100% insured. But listen, they're already admitting the stock market's down hundreds of billions over this. They're already admitting that this is endangering the entire commodities future market derivatives even further. Why would they not pay the $700 million? This is incredible.
I don't believe they have it. Just like Bernie didn't have it. If they have it, put it up, because they said they'd put up $100 billion. Here's the thing: Salenti CME discuss guarantee oversight on MF Global. And the show I did last night with Rob, we hit the points over and over. This needs to be brought out there. It's a Ponzi scheme. Why aren't they coming up with the money after Terrence Duffy said they would guarantee it to the tune of $100 billion, not $700 million?
All right, Aaron Dykes, I've raised a lot of points. Gerald's raised a lot of points. The last 4 minutes we have are 3 minutes left with him. Any other questions or comments you've got from Gerald? And Gerald, any other points you think need to be made here today?
Well, first of all, Alex, the article that Gerald is talking about, the headline is Salenti CMA did not guarantee oversight in MF Global scandal. That was Kurt's very nice article from yesterday afternoon. We didn't get to cover it until the Overdrive segment on the radio show, but that's why we got Rob Dew covering it in depth on the nightly news last night. And he's right. It breaks down really what is a fraudulent promise to guarantee this money when clearly they're just running interference for the big boys.
And now the system's just trying to play stupid. I mean, listen, I'm not just saying this, folks. I've studied this. I've called a lot of stuff, and I agree with Gerald. I think this is going to end up probably completely blowing up. I've got to say 100 times the size of Madoff, because with Madoff, that was 60, 70 billion. With the CME Group and all these other groups and MF Global and what it ties into, this ties into tens of trillions, does it not, in the entire global derivatives futures market, Gerald?
Yes, it does. They're talking a number in that videotape of 800 trillion or some number like that, some ridiculous number that they work with. I don't have it in front of me right now. I had it a second ago. Let me grab it. Hold on 1 second.
Well, I mean, they argue the numbers. They talk about 1.5 quadrillion, and they say this area is 800.
Yeah, here I got it right here. This is that Terrence Duffy. He said, to do this, we hold more than $100 billion of collateral. Here, and each and every one of these contracts, which means facilitating the transfer of $800 trillion, $800 trillion of risk. He says it. It's on that video.
And they can't even give you $700 million. They can't even give 33,000 depositors their own personal accounts of $700 million. This shows what an empty, giant fraud. We're talking about thousands of quadrillions, 800 billion, trillion. Just with this company, and they can't even give Salenti his couple 100,000.
That's what we're saying. It's a Ponzi scheme, or else come up with the money, or I don't want to hear anything else. It's all hot air. And again, why isn't Bernie Madoff, why isn't Corzine doing a perp walk? How come they haven't yanked his passport?
Unbelievable. Gerald, I want to thank you so much for your time. Promise us that coming up over the weekend and also on Monday that we can get updates from you. I really appreciate you spending so much time. And I think you're fighting back like nobody else. You're out there yelling and screaming because other people aren't prominent like you are who've been robbed. And you're certainly hurting their overall system. But they're such criminals, they just can't help doing what they're doing.
Well, there are other prominent people that have been robbed, but for some reason...
Hey guys, are weaker testosterone levels taking you out of the game? Are you gaining fat, feeling tired, losing desire in the bedroom? Get back in the game. Call now for a risk-free trial of Ageless Male, a natural supplement shown to raise testosterone by 61% and maintain healthy, normal levels. No injections, no appointments. Just take Ageless Male every day and boost your testosterone by 61%. When your levels are healthy, you can feel energy again, a great outlook again, and yes, a healthy sex drive. The results are life-changing. Beware of cheap knockoffs. Ageless Male is an exclusive formula and the only one proven in research to boost testosterone 61%. Try Ageless Male, risk-free. Just call 1-800-497-8345. 1-800-497-8345. 1-800-497-8345.
HempUSA.org has a revolutionary wonder food for detoxing the body and rebuilding the immune system. Microplant powder can help unclog arteries and soften heart valves while removing heavy metals, virus, fungus, bacteria, and parasites. Plus, it cleans and purifies the blood, lungs, stomach, and colon. Keep your body clean with Microplant powder. Visit us at HempUSA.org or call 908-691-2608 today.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
You don't need me to tell you that humanity is in a deep crisis. Everyone can feel it. We know a tectonic struggle is now taking place between the forces of freedom and those who love darkness, bondage, and enslavement. Yes, my friends, evil is rising. But take heart. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Recently, New World Order operative Hillary Clinton admitted they're losing the info war.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
The globalists are scared. They've overreached. The future of the info war is in your hands. Join PrisonPlanet.tv. Download the thousands of special video reports, ebooks, and more, and get them out to everyone you know. Continue to spread the word about the broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and every other globalist propaganda platform. We are going to use their system against them. The info war now goes into high gear.
Storable foods, check. Water filters, check. Gold and silver, check. Tactical gear, check. What's missing from your survival checklist? An essential that should not be taken for granted. Storable vitamins and nutritional supplements. Since many foods do not contain the essential micronutrients your body needs, you need Survival RX, the world's first ultra-long-term storable vitamins and nutritional supplements. How long? Survival RX products have a shelf life of up to 30 years, thanks to triple nitrogen flushing for guaranteed freshness. Go to survivalrx.com for our complete product list, including powdered milk and whey protein isolate. And remember, November is Nuclear Disaster Preparedness Month at survivalrx.com. With every order until November 30th, you will receive a free bottle of potassium iodate. Just enter coupon code RADIO. Go to survivalrx.com. That's survival, the letter R, the letter X.com. Add survivalrx.com to your preparedness checklist today.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, and we are live here. We have an hour and 24 minutes left. Bob Chapman is not going to be joining us today because I wasn't sure if I was going to be live today, so I didn't want to have him waiting in the wings. Would have been a good day to have him on with all the financial news, but we'll see Bob next Friday, Lord willing. Aaron Dykes is riding shotgun, as he does when I'm out of town, in case there's any technical difficulties, but it's also great to always have Aaron's researched insight into things. I want to open the phones up now with the news we've covered. There's a lot of other news we haven't gotten to yet, or any issue you want to raise. I'd love to hear from everybody. I want to take first-time callers in the first couple of rounds because the Genesis phone system only takes 6 calls. We probably should take it on our phone system. We can take 100 calls, but hint, Genesis, let's add some more phone lines. But I tend to go call slowly, so it doesn't really matter. But when you hear a caller hang up, that's your chance to join us on air. The toll-free number is 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. I am going to hand over the rest of this segment and a little bit of the next to Aaron to cover a lot of the piles of news he's got and to break down his take on what Celente was just covering and the incredible draconian police state admitted takeover of the private banks of Europe and England without a vote. I mean, I knew this was coming, but man, it's something else to see it actually happening and to know what's coming next. Whew, the New World Order is not nice. All you people out there that made fun of us, I feel sorry for you. I told you the technocrats are getting ready to launch their global banking takeover 3 months ago with that ad you hear there. The technocratic elite are taking over. Now, what do they call themselves? We are the technocrats. You will be absorbed. I'm going to throw it to Aaron Dykes for the rest of this segment, a little bit of the next. I'll then pop back in here in about 5 minutes after the break, and then we'll start going to your phone calls, and I'll try to also launch the phone system here. If you guys can send that to me maybe as a Skype link, or in the Skype link, maybe you can just put the callers there for me. My little technocrat isn't here, and you know how bad I am with systems I haven't studied. All right, we'll be taking your calls again coming up, 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. Aaron Dykes, I'm handing the baton to you for the next 10 minutes or so.
Thanks, Alex. And it's true, the bankers are taking over, and there's layers of Homeland Security and other groups who prepared to deal with the backlash from the people. You see it now with the massive protests going on in Occupy and other areas, and they're prepared to deal with it in order to allow the bankers to fully take over and implement their new plan of rulership through strictly economic means as they bring down the economies, especially in the Western world. But I wanted to get into Steve Watson's amazing article here. Supreme Court blocks government plan to claim ownership of DNA. And it's a ruling in the Minnesota Supreme Court that the Department of Health is violating the law in storing, using, and disseminating newborn screening test results and newborn DNA. That's something Alex has covered for his entire span of being on air. Many people cast doubt on this, didn't believe it was going on. Now it's being more and more fully exposed. And Steve Watson writes that in a long-running case, the Supreme Court has ruled to limit the use of blood samples collected from newborns. The case has exposed the fact that there is an ongoing semi-covert movement by state and federal governments to claim ownership of every newborn baby's DNA for the purpose of genetic research without the consent of individuals. And they've essentially ruled that the Department of Health would have to have explicit consent to use and store the blood samples. Right now, it's kind of on an opt-out level within that state, but we know this is going on across the country. It's a big issue. And in 2003, the Citizens Council for Health Freedom, formerly known as the Citizens Council on Health Care, discovered that the Minnesota Department of Health had been indefinitely storing the blood of newborns since the mid-'80s, using the samples for purposes beyond the state's newborn screening since 1997. And since 2008, health department officials have been seeking exemption for the so-called DNA warehouse. So there they are trying to get out of laws preventing them from collecting and using and sending out this DNA research to larger bodies. We know there's the Human Genome Project trying to map the entire background race development of the human species and the rest of it. They also use this research for background on bioweapons, for vaccines, and all the rest of it. And do you really want to trust these unknown shadowy entities with that level of information? I think not. We've had guests like Twyla Brace on before exposing this. In fact, she's part of that group, CCHF. Maybe it's time to get her back on. We'll look into that. We'll get more into other news on the other side. Alex is still with us, of course. And there's everything. There's the use of these emergency alert messages. You saw the takeover of television and radio communications earlier this month, and the feds already announced they want to go to cell phones and internet platforms next. Now Sprint is going to be part of that. We'll get into that on the other side. Stay tuned, Infowars.com. And tonight on the Infowars Nightly News, also a large smattering of the important...
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.